to make us all think. How you guys doing this grand morning? The sun is shining here. It was a beautiful sunrise. Just sat and let the sun beat on my eyes and my face this morning, and just like had a great meditation. And I was like, oh my goodness, what we can talk about? And here we are, the illusions of self. And you ever wonder like why when you stop hanging out with someone, when you choose to just remove yourself from someone in your life, or they remove themselves from you even, and it feels like this tearing goes on inside. Today I'm going to explain what that's really about. Because remember, we're living in a holographic simulation. We got to understand that. You see, it's interesting looking around at life now. I was in this observer's position for so long, and now it's this co-creation where I recognize the environments in front of me. I don't have to let them play out the way they maybe used to. Things change when we change. And are we really changing? I'd say no. We're discovering the truth of our original beings. That diamond that's always been there, that we allowed life to cover with a bunch of chaos and crap. And we couldn't see the truth of our divine within anymore. Søren Kierkegaard once said that once you label me, you negate me. To let go is to strip away not only of the illusions we place upon others, but also the ones we unknowingly construct around ourselves. Have you ever wondered why letting go can feel as if you are tearing away a piece of your soul, while simultaneously experiencing an internal quiet storm? The answer lies deep within the nature of our consciousness, identity, and transformation. You see, from a psychological standpoint, our brain forms attachments through the neural pathways, reinforcing by, repeated interactions, emotional and shared experiences, and the limbic system, which governs emotional and memory, wires itself around our relationships. And when we let go, we are not simply saying goodbye, not to another person. We're distinctly an identity intertwined within them. Our habits, beliefs, and sense of self have been shaped by that connection. And severing it creates cognitive dissonance, a sense of loss, one that is, in reality, the birth of transformation. You see, when we strip away relationships that don't do us any good, we're allowing a place of birth, of transformation to take place. Because you see those relationships intertwined within your own identity and being. Philosophical and spiritual paradoxes of identity, the concept of self is often an illusion. Built on reflection, we see those around us. Relationships, especially deep ones, act as mirrors, showing us aspects of ourselves that we may not have otherwise recognized. Thanks for the hearts. When those mirrors leave, we are forced to confront the truth of our being within and without them. The external validation. This is where, existential philosophy meets spiritual wisdom. Detachment is not merely about losing another person, but about unraveling the illusion of self that exists within them. Our relationships build our identities. I am having a great day. Thank you for asking, and I hope you're having a great day too. See, these things act like mirrors, showing us aspects of ourselves we may not have ever even recognized. And when those mirrors, they leave us, those relationships, you're stuck with confronting the truth of your being. They're not there to, reinforce the identity that you've built out of it. So even in Buddhism, the idea of anatta, non-self, teaching that identity is fluid and ever changing. Letting go is an opportunity to see past the conditioned of self, the self that was constructed from the external influences. Similarly to Hinduism and Maya, or the illusion of reality, keeps us bound to suffering. It is only through release that one can attain true clarity. And spiritual evolution is where the real shifts happen. And thanks for the hearts. Hearts right back at you. Even Christianity speaks of surrendering to divine will. Whoever seeks to preserve his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life will keep it. Luke 17:33. Letting go is often a test of faith, an act of trust that the someone greater is unfolding. Islam echoes the sentimental with the tawakkul, the complete trust in God's plan, believing that what leaves was never truly ours to begin with. In physics, the change of chaos and order. In quantum mechanics, the observer effects suggest that reality is shaped by our perceptions. When we attach too strongly to a version of ourselves shaped by another person, we collapse the possibilities into a limited state of being. Letting go also allows us to re-enter a state of fluid potential, where we are no longer bound by the rigid structures of identity. It's the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy disorder always increases, can be seen as a metaphor in relationships. Like all things must undergo transformation. It's only through change that growth occurs. Science says it as well. See, if you look back at a time in my life where we were teaching way back when, I made my identity around relationships I had back then too. But when I took myself into this place of solitude, where solitude wasn't loneliness, solitude was gazing into the mirror, I could see what all these relationships were nothing more than a part of an identity that I thought was real, but it was more than of an illusion. And stripping them away, all it did was clear the fogged mirror and allow me to look deep and see. Letting go allows us to re-enter this flow. When we let someone go, we're not losing them. We're shedding an old version of us. Just like a caterpillar dissolving entirely before emerging as a butterfly, so too must we allow parts of ourselves to disintegrate in order to evolve. And the pain we feel is the resistance of transformation, but within the suffering lies the invitation of rebirth. And it's beautiful, just like that butterfly. You're the butterfly. See, it's important for us to recognize that attachment is not merely to presence of a person, but to the mental and emotional structures we have woven around them. When we no longer fear the unraveling of structures, we begin to see reality as it truly is, ever-changing, boundless, and filled with infinite potential. Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning of a new way of being, free from the illusion aligned with truth. What happens when we're willing to gaze into the mirror, to gaze into the truth? We see ourselves, that divine spark that we just made into some external God who is pointing with us down instead of within. We've created so many illusions We are not the relationships in our lives. Remember that. If you guys got any questions, please feel free to give them. How's it going, Tristan? Make sure you do one thing towards your dreams every single day. Brings you one step closer. Make sure you recognize how valuable you are and how much you matter. You're that unique puzzle piece, a part of the ultimate puzzle of the cosmos. And without you, that puzzle doesn't get complete. We're one. I encourage you to spend a season just gazing in the mirror. Pay attention to the relationships. Which ones do you need to strip away? Relationships are only for a time in our lives. Some come, some go. Some stay. The ones that stay generally grow with you. And that's why they're still on that path. The ones with the resistance, you gotta cut the cords. The most important thing you can ever do for yourself and everybody else in the world is be you. Thank you. That'll mess up your brain. It'll scramble everything. And you'll start getting upset with the wrong people. People pleasing breaks us. Makes you lose everything about you. Makes you a liar. I was a massive people pleaser, which means I was a massive liar. But now, I back everything up. Kind of hard to call it a lie if everything says it's true. Now, isn't it? You get to a place when you walk through your healing, and you strip those false identities, and you no longer care about what people think. You no longer care what people say or think about this. You say it as it is, and you don't care who hears it. You have nothing to hide. If someone finds out you said something, you're like, yeah, and I see it as truth. I will never deny that. Be you. That's what's going to change the world. Stop trying to change everything else around you to fit your mold. Find you. Because that's the real kicker. Peace and love. See you guys next time.